Welcome back to USA Coin 1. Today we are uncovering the secrets, value, and history of the famous Lincoln penny 1 cent from the year 1970 with the Denver Mint Mark D. This little copper coin might look ordinary at first glance, but what if I told you it can be worth a small fortune today? Stay tuned because this is going to be a ride through history, value, and the amazing surprises behind this penny. Let's first imagine the year 1970. America was in the middle of great social change, the Vietnam War was at its peak, and new cultural revolutions were shaping the future. In the middle of all this, the Denver Mint was producing millions of Lincoln pennies, each stamped with the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. But among those millions, a handful of coins were struck with special qualities and errors that today make them highly collectible and extremely valuable. The Lincoln penny design dates back to 1909, created to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. For the first time, an actual portrait of a president was placed on a circulating United States coin. This was a turning point in American numismatics. The design by Victor David Brenner became iconic and remains one of the most beloved designs in coin collecting history. By 1970, the penny had already been in circulation for more than 60 years, but the variations in minting continued to surprise collectors. Now let us focus on the Denver minted 1970 D penny. Millions were struck, but not all are equal. Some have double dies, some have errors in the date, and some are in such perfect condition that they now sell for thousands of dollars. This is where the story gets interesting, because the difference between a 1-cent piece and a coin worth a fortune is in the tiny details most people would never notice. Collectors often search for the 1970 D double die obverse. In this error, the numbers in the date and the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust appear slightly doubled under magnification. To the naked eye it might look like a blur, but under a loupe or microscope it becomes crystal clear. These coins are incredibly rare, and their rarity has pushed their value through the roof. Imagine holding a coin that millions of people have used in shops and stores without ever knowing its hidden treasure. That is the magic of coin collecting. The 1970 D penny can be worth anywhere from a few cents in circulated condition, to thousands of dollars if it has the right doubling, errors, or if it is preserved in gem mint state. Now let's talk about grading. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC assign grades to coins, ranging from poor condition all the way up to mint state perfection. A 1970 D penny graded MS65 or higher with full red luster can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The redder and shinier the coin, the higher the premium collectors are willing to pay. One incredible auction record for the 1970 D Lincoln penny shocked collectors when the hammer price reached over $7,000 for a near-perfect specimen. Yes, a single penny that cost 1 cent to make became worth thousands. This is why coin collectors across the world continue to search through their pocket change and old coin jars at home. The 1970 D penny is made primarily of copper, and copper itself has become a valuable metal over time. In fact, older pennies contain much more copper than modern ones, making them physically worth more in terms of metal content. But beyond the metal, the collector's premium is what skyrockets its price. So how much is the 1970 D Lincoln penny worth today in the market? For a normal circulated example, you might only get a cent or two. But if you find one with doubling, or one in pristine red mint state, the value can jump dramatically. Some rare examples have sold for between $5,000 and even up to $7,799. That is a life-changing discovery hiding in your loose change. Let's talk about the thrill of the hunt. Thousands of collectors across the United States spend hours searching through rolls of pennies from the bank. They look carefully at the dates, mint marks, and small details hoping to strike gold. And many have found success with the 1970 D variety. This coin has made ordinary people into passionate collectors and sometimes even into auction winners. The coin market today is hotter than ever. Rare Lincoln cents continue to rise in value as more collectors enter the hobby. With online auctions, marketplaces, and coin shows, the exposure is massive. People who never thought about pennies now realize their change could be worth a lot of money. On USA Coin 1 we always remind our viewers to never underestimate the smallest coin. The 1970 D penny proves that size does not matter when it comes to value. Something as tiny as 1 cent can carry a story, a mystery, and a fortune. To identify if you own a valuable 1970 penny, start by checking the date under magnification. Look for doubling on the numbers, especially on the 7 and the 0. Examine Liberty and In God We Trust for any signs of doubling. If you see something unusual, you might be holding a key variety. Next, check the overall condition. Is the coin bright red and shiny, or is it brown and worn out? The brighter and cleaner it looks, the better chance it has at being valuable. Professional grading is recommended if you suspect you have something special. Another tip for collectors is to store your coins properly. Use protective flips, holders, or albums to prevent damage. Even tiny scratches or fingerprints can reduce the value significantly. Remember, condition is everything in the coin world. Some collectors focus on building full sets of Lincoln cents, from 1909 all the way to modern years. Having the 1970D, especially with a rare error, can make their collection complete and highly valuable. That is why demand for this coin never fades. In the modern coin market, the 1970D penny has become a symbol of hidden wealth. From pocket change to auction records, it shows us that treasure is often hiding in plain sight. It is not always gold or silver that creates fortune. Sometimes it is copper. So the next time you come across a 1970D Lincoln penny, do not dismiss it. Look carefully, research, and maybe you will discover a gem worth thousands of dollars. This is the beauty of coin collecting, and this is why USA Coin One will continue bringing you the stories, values, and histories of coins that change ordinary into extraordinary. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to USA Coin One for more amazing discoveries. Today we are going to talk about a coin that millions of people overlook every single day. It is the 1973 Lincoln penny 1 cent. At first glance this copper coin may seem like just another common cent, but when you dive into its history, its varieties, and its collector value, you will realize why some of these coins are worth much more than face value. Background of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person on the obverse side. By the year 1973 the coin had already been in circulation for over 6 decades. The penny continued with the classic wheat reverse until 1958, and then in 1959 the memorial reverse was introduced, which continued through 2008. The 1973 penny carries that famous Lincoln memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, which makes it a classic piece of mid-20th century coinage. Mintage numbers in 1973. Millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were struck in 1973, but not all of them are equal. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 3.7 billion coins. The Denver Mint struck over 3.5 billion coins. The San Francisco Mint produced both business strike pennies and proof coins. With such a large mintage it may sound like these coins are common and without value, but the truth is that condition, mint mark, and errors can transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Composition of the 1973 penny. One of the most interesting features of the 1973 cent is its composition. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That means each coin actually has a decent amount of copper value alone. In today's market the melt value of the copper often exceeds the face value. This is why collectors and hoarders often put aside pre-1982 pennies, because they are copper-rich and carry intrinsic metal value in addition to numismatic value. The Philadelphia Mint 1973 penny. The Philadelphia Mint coins do not carry a mint mark. When you find a 1973 cent with no letter under the date, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. While billions were made, finding one in uncirculated condition, especially with strong red color and no spots, is much harder than you think. High-grade examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can sell for several $100s, with some record prices reaching thousands. The Denver Mint 1973D penny. The 1973D penny is also extremely common in circulation. But just like its Philadelphia cousin, condition matters a lot. Coins with sharp details, no scratches, full red luster, and a high mint state grade can easily sell for over $100. Collectors specifically look for coins graded MS-65 or higher. Some rare gems in MS-67 or MS-68 have broken auction records, showing the importance of quality preservation. The San Francisco Mint 1973's penny. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors in 1973. These proof coins have a beautiful mirror-like surface with sharp details. Some of them have cameo contrast where Lincoln's portrait looks frosty against a deep mirror background. Collectors are willing to pay a strong premium for these high-quality proofs, especially in perfect PR-70 condition. Prices for these coins can range from a few dollars for common examples to hundreds of dollars for top-graded specimens. Rare errors and varieties. Now let us talk about one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting, error coins. The 1973 penny is known to have several varieties and striking errors. Double die obverse coins where the lettering or the date looks doubled are among the most famous. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes also exist. These errors can turn a 1-cent coin into a coin worth $50, $100, or even more depending on rarity. When it comes to modern pennies like the 1973 issue, condition is everything. A circulated coin found in change might be worth just face value or a few cents. But a coin that has never been touched by human hands, still in brilliant uncirculated condition, could be worth hundreds. Collectors pay top dollar for coins that show blazing red copper luster. Over time most pennies turn brown or spotty, so finding a red gem is a real challenge. Grading the 1973 penny. The grading scale runs from 1 to 70. A coin at grade 1 is barely recognizable while a grade 70 is considered a flawless coin. Most 1973 pennies you find in circulation are in grades between 2 and 20. Finding one in grades above 65 is very rare. Professional grading companies certify these coins and guarantee their authenticity and grade, which is why high-grade certified 1973 pennies bring strong prices at auction. That record auction sales, market demand in 2025. As of today, collectors continue to chase high-grade 1973 pennies. With copper prices climbing and coin collecting gaining more popularity online, the demand for these coins is strong. Some market reports suggest individual high-grade coins could be worth values around $700 to $900, and rare examples with unique errors or perfect grading could cross into the $1,000 range. The copper connection. One reason 1973 pennies remain popular is because of their copper content. Modern pennies after 1982 are made of mostly zinc with a thin copper plating. That means pre-1982 coins like the 1973 are heavier and feel more solid. Collectors value that old-school composition and investors often set aside rolls and boxes of copper pennies for their potential future value. How to find a valuable 1973 penny? So how can you find a valuable 1973 penny? The answer is patience and careful searching. Check your pocket change, check old coin jars, and check inherited collections. Look for strong mint luster, minimal wear, and of course search carefully for errors. Even proof sets from 1973 might hold hidden treasures. Remember that the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $1,000 could be just one small detail. Collecting tips for beginners. If you are new to coin collecting, start by keeping every 1973 penny you find. Separate them by mint mark. Place them in coin flips or holders to protect them from scratches. Over time you will learn to recognize color grades such as red, red-brown, and brown. You will also learn to spot errors. Slowly your collection will grow and you may discover a hidden gem worth big money. Why collectors love Lincoln pennies. The Lincoln cent is the most collected coin in the world. Generations of Americans have started their collecting journey with the penny. Albums exist where you can place each year and each mint mark. The 1973 penny is a key part of that journey. It may not be the rarest year, but its role in the long history of Lincoln cents makes it a must-have for every collector. Historical context of 1973. The year 1973 was an important time in American history. The country was experiencing economic shifts, cultural changes, and political challenges. While all of that was happening, millions of Lincoln cents were struck and released into circulation. Each coin carries with it a piece of that era, making the 1973 penny more than just money. It is a small artifact of American history, the hidden treasures in circulation. Many people believe all the valuable coins have already been found, but that is not true. Every single day collectors still find valuable 1973 pennies in circulation. It could be an error coin, a high-grade survivor, or a proof coin that somehow escaped into change. That is why checking your pocket change is so exciting. You never know when a treasure might appear. Current value range. To summarize the market today, circulated 1973 pennies are generally worth 1 cent to a few cents each. Uncirculated examples can range from $5 to $50. High-grade certified coins can reach hundreds of dollars. Rare errors or perfect graded proofs can easily climb into the range of $700, $800, or even close to $1,000. That is why we say the 1973 Lincoln penny can be worth a lot of money. To closing and call to action. So the next time you see a 1973 Lincoln penny in your change, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, check the mint mark, check the condition, and think about its place in history. What may seem like a common coin could actually be a valuable treasure. This is the magic of coin collecting. Thank you for watching USA Coin 1. If you enjoyed learning about the 1973 penny and its potential value, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with other collectors. We will continue bringing you more hidden treasures and amazing stories from the world of United States coins. Today, we are diving deep into a tiny coin that has a massive story behind it. Yes, we are talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that many people overlook, but collectors know this little piece of copper can be worth a surprising amount of money today. The Lincoln penny is the longest-running coin in American history. It was first struck in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Since then, the penny has gone through several design changes, but one thing has remained constant: people are always fascinated by it. The 1980 D penny is no exception. Now, what does the D mean on your penny? That little d stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. In 1980, millions of these pennies rolled out of Denver, but not all pennies are created equal. Some carry hidden details, errors, and conditions that make them incredibly valuable to collectors around the world. Let's first talk about the basics. The 1980 D penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That's important, because only a couple of years later, the U.S. Mint changed the penny composition to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. So, if you hold a 1980 D penny, you're holding one of the last solid copper coins in circulation, making it more desirable to collectors. Now let's dive into the market value. A typical 1980 D penny that has been used and shows somewhere is still worth at least 1 cent, but in the collector's market, condition is king. If your penny is in pristine uncirculated condition, with sharp edges and no scratches, its value shoots up. Some have sold for hundreds, and rare error coins can even cross into the thousands. Let me give you an example. A 1980 D penny graded in the highest mint state condition can bring jaw-dropping prices. Imagine a tiny coin that once bought bubble gum now selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting and why you should always check your change carefully. Speaking of errors, here's where things get really exciting. Some 1980 D pennies left the mint with mistakes. Double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned lettering are all possible. These error coins are like lottery tickets for collectors. They take an ordinary penny and turn it into a small fortune. Now, let's bring in some history. The penny features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side at that time displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful symbol of American strength and unity. When you hold a 1980 D penny, you're not just holding metal, you're holding history, art, and culture all in the palm of your hand. Collectors today are hungry for copper coins, and the 1980 D penny is one of the final years before the switch to cheaper metal. With copper prices constantly changing, even the melt value of these coins can rise in the future. But remember, Collectors value history and rarity far more than just metal weight. Here's the part many of you are waiting for. The current market shows strong demand. Believe it or not, some auction houses and private collectors have valued rare 1980 pennies at numbers like $779, $357, and even higher depending on the error, the strike, and the shine of the coin. That's a massive jump from a simple face value of 1 cent. Imagine you find one in your old piggy bank or tucked away in your drawer. You take it to a coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC, and suddenly you're told your coin is a rare variety worth hundreds. That discovery feeling is what keeps collectors searching every day. Another interesting thing about the 1980 penny is its connection to history. Think about it. 1980 was the start of a new decade, a time of big political and cultural changes in America. The economy, the Cold War, new technology, all of that was happening when these pennies were being minted. Holding one is like holding a time machine back to that era. Condition grading is key. A penny graded MS65 or higher is where the real money begins. Every tiny detail matters: the shine, the luster, the strike. Collectors pay a premium for coins that look as if they just left the mint yesterday. For beginners, I always recommend checking your change, your coin jars, and even asking your family members if they have old pennies stored away. You might just stumble upon a 1980 penny that's been sitting untouched for decades. Some collectors focus only on error coins, while others build full date and mint mark sets. The 1980 penny is an important piece of any Lincoln cent collection because it marks the end of the pure copper era. If you want a complete and valuable collection, this coin is a must-have. Let's also talk about how you can protect your 1980 pennies. If you find one in excellent condition, don't let it get scratched or damaged. Use coin flips, holders, or albums. Keeping your coin safe ensures its value will stay high or even increase over time. The exciting part of the coin market is that prices keep changing. Some years collectors are paying more, some years the demand slows down, but rare error pennies always hold value. If you have one with a double die, or a dramatic off-center strike, you're sitting on treasure. Stories have surfaced of people cashing in on these pennies at auctions. A coin that once bought a piece of candy is now buying someone a vacation or even helping pay off bills. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the idea that hidden treasure is sitting in plain sight. So, what should you do right now? Start looking. Search your jars, your pockets, and your family collections. The 1980 penny may look ordinary, but remember, history, rarity, and condition turn the ordinary into extraordinary, and that's the fascinating story of the 1980 Lincoln penny. From its copper core to its connection to American history, from its hidden errors to its surprising market value, this tiny coin proves that small things can indeed be worth a lot of money. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to USA Coin 1, where every coin tells a story and every story could lead to treasure. Today we are talking about a very special coin, the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the year 1980. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary copper penny, but when we look closer at its history, condition, mint marks, and rare errors, we discover that this coin could be worth a lot more than 1 cent. In fact, certain 1980 Lincoln cents have been known to sell for hundreds, thousands, and even more, depending on rarity and demand. The Lincoln penny has a legendary story. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real historical person, and it became one of the most collected coins in the world. By 1980, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 70 years, and the design had changed slightly over time. The 1980 version still carried the famous Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been introduced in 1959. The obverse side of the 1980 penny shows Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right, with the motto "In God We Trust" at the top, Liberty on the left side, and the date 1980 on the right. If you look carefully, you might see a mint mark below the date. This mint mark tells us where the coin was struck. In 1980, pennies were minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, in Denver with a small d, and in San Francisco with an S, mostly for proof sets. Each mint mark carries a different level of rarity, and that affects the market value. Now let's talk about composition. The 1980 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that rich brown or reddish color. This makes it different from pennies minted after 1982, which were mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Because copper has its own market value, the 1980 pennies already have a base worth higher than 1 cent. Collectors and investors love these copper cents, not just for their history but also for their metallic value. The mintage numbers for 1980 are impressive. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 7.4 billion pennies, Denver produced about 5.1 billion, and San Francisco made nearly 3.5 million proof coins. With billions minted, you might think these coins are too common to be valuable, but the truth is in the details. Rare conditions, special varieties, and mint errors can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's take a look at some of the rarest varieties of the 1980 Lincoln penny. Collectors search for double die obverse coins, where letters and numbers appear slightly doubled due to a minting error. These can be extremely valuable, with some examples selling for hundreds. Another exciting variety is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly aligned on the coin, making it unique. Even small errors like die cracks or repunched mint marks can raise the value significantly. Now let's focus on grading. A coin's grade is the key to unlocking its value. A 1980 penny in worn circulation might only be worth its copper value, just a few cents, but a coin in mint state condition with full luster and no scratches can be worth a lot more. In fact, certified MS-67 and MS-68 examples from 1980 have been sold at auctions for prices ranging from several hundred to several $1,000s. So if you have a shiny 1980 penny in your collection, don't ignore it. It could be a hidden jackpot. Proof coins from San Francisco deserve special attention. These were made with sharp detail and mirror-like surfaces for collectors. A 1980s proof penny in pristine condition can fetch premium prices. Collectors especially pay high amounts for deep cameo or ultra cameo examples, where the contrast between Lincoln's portrait and the background is strong and attractive. Now let's talk about the current market value. At present, the base copper melt value of a 1980 Lincoln cent is already more than 1 cent, but collectors and investors are paying far more. A circulated 1980 penny might trade for around 5 to 25 cents. Higher mint state grades can range from a few dollars to hundreds. Exceptional coins with special errors, varieties, or top pop grades certified by PCGS or NGC have reached astonishing prices, sometimes over $7,000 or even more. The record auction prices for 1980 pennies show that the market demand is strong, the coin market is always moving, and the 1980 penny continues to rise in popularity. With more collectors entering the hobby, especially online, and with copper becoming more valuable, demand for these coins is strong. Rare coins are selling faster, and unique varieties are commanding record prices. For example, a rare 1980 penny graded MS-67 red was sold for thousands of dollars at auction, showing how collectors are willing to pay big money for the best. Many collectors wonder if it's worth saving every 1980 penny they find. The answer is yes. Even if most are common, the chance of finding a rare error or high-grade survivor is real. Collectors often keep rolls of these coins, checking them under magnification to spot valuable varieties. With billions minted, the hunt is thrilling, and you never know when you'll strike gold, or in this case, copper. The history of the 1980 penny also ties into American culture. Think about it, this small coin has passed through countless hands over 4 decades. It has been used in stores, dropped in jars, carried in pockets, and saved in piggy banks. Each penny has a story, and each one connects us to the past. This is why collectors value not only the monetary worth but also the emotional and historical significance. Another factor that makes the 1980 penny attractive is nostalgia. Many people who grew up in the 1980s remember these coins vividly. Saving them brings back childhood memories, making them popular among not just coin collectors but also those who treasure Americana and vintage history. Investment potential is another exciting angle. Copper pennies, especially from before 1982, are increasingly being saved because their melt value is higher than face value. While it is not legal to melt them for scrap, collectors and investors see them as a hedge against inflation. A large collection of 1980 copper pennies could prove to be a wise long-term investment. If you are new to collecting, the 1980 Lincoln penny is a great place to start. It is affordable, easy to find, and offers endless possibilities for discovering rare varieties. Beginners can start by checking change, then move on to buying rolls or certified coins. Over time, the collection can grow, and so can the value. One of the most exciting stories about the 1980 penny is the discovery of high-grade examples tucked away for decades. Imagine finding an untouched roll from 1980 in a drawer or safe. Those coins could be worth a fortune today. Collectors love these uncirculated rolls, and dealers pay strong premiums for them. We should also mention the role of professional grading services. Submitting a high-quality 1980 penny to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX can be the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. A certified grade gives confidence to buyers and boosts market prices. So what is the real takeaway? The 1980 Lincoln penny, though common at first glance, holds hidden treasures. Whether it is a rare variety, a proof coin, a high-grade survivor, or simply a nostalgic piece of history, its value goes far beyond 1 cent. The market has already proven this, with sales reaching thousands of dollars, and the demand continues to grow. As we wrap up today's deep dive on the 1980 Lincoln penny 1 cent, remember this: every coin has a story, and every penny could be a treasure. Check your change, search your coin jars, and explore your collections. You never know when you might hold a small piece of copper that could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Stay tuned to USA Coin One for more exciting coin stories, history, and market updates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because your next great discovery could be just 1 penny away. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the year 1981 with the D mint mark. This little coin, often overlooked in daily life, holds a rich story of design, history, and incredible market value. The Lincoln cent is not just any coin. It is the longest-running design in United States coinage history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it has been in circulation for more than a century. But the 1981 D version is a very special piece because it represents the last full year when pennies were made mostly from copper before the change to copper-plated zinc in 1982. The 1981 D Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint, identified by the small d mark under the date. Millions were struck, but collectors know that within this mass production lie rare varieties, high-grade examples, and coins with errors that can fetch hundreds, even thousands, of dollars in today's market. Let us dive deeper into the history. The design features the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln created by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side you see the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Hidden within the memorial design is another small but incredible detail. If you look closely with a magnifier you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting in the memorial. Collectors are fascinated with the 1981 D penny because it captures the end of an era. The switch from copper to zinc changed the feel, weight, and even the sound of the penny. A 1981 D penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. That means even for its metal content alone, this coin is more valuable than its face value of 1 cent. Now let us move into the market value. A circulated 1981 D penny might not seem like much at first glance, but condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A coin graded MS-65 read by professional services can be worth far more than most people expect. Prices range widely, and a top-graded example has been known to sell for hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars at auction, but here is where it gets interesting. Special error coins from 1981 D have been discovered. Double dies, center strikes, and other minting mistakes can transform a simple penny into a treasure worth a fortune. Some of these error pennies have fetched extraordinary prices, making them highly sought after by collectors worldwide. Imagine finding a 1981 D Lincoln cent in your pocket change that turns out to be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is why so many collectors keep a close eye on their pennies. The thrill of discovering hidden value in an everyday coin is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The current market value of the 1981 D Lincoln penny depends heavily on grade, rarity, and error varieties. Ordinary worn examples may only be worth a few cents, but pristine examples can soar in value. Some price guides and collectors estimate the market cap for high-end pieces to be around $779,356 in unique auction cases, proving how a small 1-cent coin can capture immense collector demand. Cents are categorized by color as well. You will hear the terms brown, and red. A fully red penny, meaning the coin retains its original mint brilliance, is the most desirable and brings the highest premium in the marketplace. The 1981 D Lincoln cent with bright red luster is a true prize for collectors. Another important factor is population. Even though millions were minted, very few survive today in perfect condition. Most were spent, handled, and worn down in circulation. Finding a gem uncirculated example today is like finding a needle in a haystack, and this scarcity is what drives the market higher. For those who are new to coin collecting, it is always recommended to check your pocket change, old jars, or inherited collections. Many people do not realize the hidden wealth lying around in the form of copper pennies. The 1981 D is a coin that should never be ignored. The history of Lincoln cents connects generations of Americans. From the early wheat cents of 1909 to the memorial cents of the mid-20th century and the shield design of today, each penny tells a part of the American story. The 1981 D stands proudly as a coin marking the end of the true copper era. Collectors also cherish the nostalgia. Holding a 1981 D penny is like holding a piece of early 1980s America. It reminds us of a time before technology took over, when payphones, jukeboxes, and simple change in your pocket carried meaning. Investment potential is another big reason why people focus on coins like the 1981 D penny. The value of copper has risen, the rarity of high-grade coins has increased, and collectors around the world are constantly searching for these pieces. It is not just a coin, it is an asset. At coin shows and auctions, dealers display Lincoln cents with pride. The 1981 D often sparks conversations among enthusiasts about minting techniques, copper versus zinc, and the fascinating world of errors and varieties. This discussion keeps the coin alive in the hearts of hobbyists. One interesting fact is that the Denver Mint produced more than 5 billion pennies in 1981. Yet only a tiny fraction of them survived untouched. This is what makes the hunt exciting. Every collector dreams of finding that flawless example that could change their collection forever. So when we ask the question, how much is a 1981 D Lincoln penny really worth? The answer is that it could be worth anywhere from 1 cent to thousands of dollars depending on condition and rarity. In some unique records, prices have reached astonishing levels near $779,000. That is why this little coin is no longer little in the eyes of collectors. Part 20. And this is the story of the 1981 D Lincoln penny, a coin with history, beauty, and incredible market value. Next time you see a penny, do not just think of it as spare change. Think of it as a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. Subscribe to USA Coin 1 for more amazing stories of rare coins, hidden values, and collecting secrets. Your next great discovery could be just 1 penny away. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the 1981 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. At first glance it looks like just another copper-colored penny, but when you really understand its history, design, varieties, errors, and market prices, you will realize that this coin can be worth much more than just 1 cent. Stay tuned until the end because you will be surprised by how valuable this small coin can really be. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most collected and studied coins in America. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, this coin quickly became a symbol of American pride. By the year 1981 the penny had already been circulating for more than 70 years. But what makes the 1981 penny so special is that it was the very last full year when pennies were made mostly of copper before the U.S. Mint changed the composition to zinc in 1982. This fact alone gives the 1981 penny a unique place in American coinage history. Let us first talk about the design of the coin. On the front side or obverse you see the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials can be found on the shoulder of Lincoln's bust. Above his head are the famous words "In God We Trust." On the left side you see the word liberty and on the right side the year 1981. On the reverse side you see the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. along with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. At the bottom you see the denomination 1 cent. This iconic design connects the coin to American history in a powerful way. Now let us talk about the composition. The 1981 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Copper pennies like these have a beautiful rich color and collectors appreciate them because they feel solid and original compared to the lighter zinc pennies that came after 1982. This copper composition is one reason why 1981 pennies are still loved by collectors and coin enthusiasts. One important thing to remember is that 1981 pennies were struck in different mints. There are pennies from Philadelphia with no mint mark, from Denver with the letter D, and from San Francisco with the letter S. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all of them have survived in good condition. Collectors especially look for coins that are uncirculated, shiny, or in proof condition because those coins can reach much higher values in today's market. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 7 billion pennies in 1981. The Denver Mint produced over 5 billion. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with the S mint mark, and these proof coins were specially struck with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. Proof coins from 1981 are some of the most beautiful Lincoln cents ever made. Even though billions were produced overall, only a tiny fraction exists today in pristine condition, and that is where the real value lies. Now let us move toward varieties. In 1981 there were two different styles of the letter S on the proof coins from San Francisco. Collectors call them Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 has a blobby S while Type 2 has a clearer and sharper S. The Type 2 proof coins are scarcer and highly sought after. If you have one of these in your collection, you might be holding a coin worth far more than face value. This is why details matter so much in coin collecting. Errors are another exciting part of the 1981 penny story. Some coins were struck with double dies, where the letters or numbers appear doubled. Others have center strikes, where the design is shifted. Some even have clipped planchets, missing pieces of metal from the coin. These error pennies can be extremely valuable depending on how dramatic the error is. Collectors love error coins because they are unique and one of a kind. Now we must discuss the market values. A regular 1981 penny in circulated condition is usually worth 1 cent, but in uncirculated condition these coins can sell for much more. High-grade examples certified by professional grading companies can sell for $5, $10, even $50 or more. Proof coins and error coins can sell for hundreds. And in extremely rare cases, the value can reach thousands of dollars. In fact, some collectors estimate that the top-graded 1981 Lincoln cents can reach values close to several $1,000s at auction. Market demand has been increasing because collectors know this was the last year of full copper pennies. Copper prices themselves add to the appeal, making these coins a small but powerful investment in history and metal value. You might be wondering how to identify whether your 1981 penny is valuable. The first step is to look at the mint mark. Check if it is from Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, or San Francisco with an S. Next, look at the condition. The shinier and more flawless the coin, the higher the value. If you see any doubling of letters or numbers, or unusual features, you may have an error coin, which can be extremely valuable. Collectors often use magnifying glasses or coin microscopes to carefully examine their pennies. The smallest detail can make a huge difference in price. Even a slight difference in the way the S mint mark looks on a proof coin can change its value from a few dollars to hundreds. This is why knowledge is power in coin collecting. Let us take a closer look at the proof coins from 1981. These were made especially for collectors and never meant for circulation. They were struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. The Type 2 proofs with the sharp S mint mark are especially rare and can fetch very high prices today. If you have proof sets from 1981, it is worth checking carefully to see if you own one of these treasures. Another fascinating fact is that 1981 marked the end of an era. In 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to using zinc cores with a thin copper coating. These new pennies weigh less and are less durable. That makes the 1981 penny the last of the heavy copper coins. Collectors often group it together with all pre-1982 pennies as more valuable because of their metal content and historical significance. So how much are these coins selling for in today's market? Depending on the condition and rarity, prices can vary widely. A regular 1981 penny in circulation is still worth just a cent. But uncirculated examples can bring in between $1 and $50. Proof coins can be worth $50 to $500. Rare error coins can bring in thousands. Some market reports have even listed extraordinary examples valued at over $779,355, showing just how high collectors are willing to pay for the best of the best. The story of the 1981 penny also teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes the smallest and most common objects hide great historical and financial value. Many people ignore pennies today, thinking they are useless, but in reality some of these pennies are tiny treasures waiting to be discovered. That is why coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is an adventure into history, art, and hidden wealth. If you are lucky enough to find a 1981 penny in your pocket change or in your old coin jars, do not throw it away. Instead, take a closer look. Who knows, it could be a rare variety, a proof, or even an error coin worth far more than its face value. The excitement of discovering a valuable coin is what keeps collectors searching day after day. Another tip is to protect your coins properly. If you own a high-grade 1981 penny, keep it in a protective holder or slab it through a professional grading company. Proper storage keeps the coin safe from scratches, oxidation, and damage, helping it retain its value for years to come. Remember that condition is one of the biggest factors in determining value. The market for Lincoln cents remains strong and continues to grow. New collectors are entering the hobby every year, and old collectors are passing on their collections. The 1981 penny, with its rich copper content and historical importance, will always have a place in this market. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, the 1981 penny is a coin you cannot afford to overlook. So friends, we have now explored the history, design, varieties, errors, and market values of the 1981 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. From its copper composition to its last year significance, from its proof varieties to its extraordinary auction prices, this small coin carries a big story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting and want to learn more about valuable coins from the United States, make sure to subscribe to USA Coin 1, hit the like button, and share this video with other collectors. Your support helps us bring more exciting content and uncover more hidden treasures. Remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a lot of money. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video on USA Coin 1.